the network's flagship political platform, through which trending political news, events, and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system, and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at the stories. First, Rivers State. Pro-Sim militants laments abandonment by CTC chairman. And on to Edo State, Oshomole calls Betsy Obaseki childless. And on APC, Elders back Sule supports Ganduje. On End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest, police placed 20 million naira bounty on Britain, Ahims. On fuel scarcity, Tinubu sleeping while Nigeria is on fire. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Asim Adams, ESQ. Asim Adams is a legal practitioner, human rights advocate, and is also the convener, Lawyers Without Borders. Good morning, Asim, and welcome to Open Conversation.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lorisha. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning.
And on to the story. pro-Sim Fubara militant, Gabriel Asabuja, aka General, is lamenting that he has been abandoned by those he assisted to settle in as local government committee chairman. He accused them of misappropriation of funds. He lamented that the CTC chairmen are using locations for empowerment of their local governments to build houses, hotels, estates, and sleep with people's wives and widows. He said most of them no longer reside in the state and do not oversee the affairs of their local governments. He further agonized over people in the corridor of power blocking him from seeing the governor. Asabuja praised the FCT minister, Wike, whom he called an astute politician. In his eulogy, he said, yes, Wike is a grassroots politician who is well-rooted in politics and understands the complexities, intrigues, and power plays in politics. He said the FCT is a political colossus and not one that can be fought without being formidable. He said that things are currently that Olaye Fubara is not ready or strong enough to withstand the FCT minister. Recall that Abuja Aka General, in a viral video that showed him coming out of the creeks, heavily armed and surrounded by armed men, referred to as his boys, threatened violence if the outgone local government chairmen refused to vacate their offices. He called on the governor and the CTC chairman to empower him to oust the outgone chairman from office. The standoff that ensued afterwards resulted in violent protests that resulted in the death of a policeman and a civilian and leaving several persons injured. Video of Asabuja lamenting of abandonment.
Go fight. Anybody they fight with Wike making prepare. No, now forget. Wike no get a handwork. See Fubara, I keep quiet. Because those people who ain't carry do caretaker and they do anything. Then they busy. They buy land. When I mean land, they buy a house. They build hotel. They build estate. They build meeting, live empowerment. Live fight where they front, where they go fight. Anybody they fight with Wike making prepare. No, now forget. Wike no get a handwork. Wike no be contractor. Wike need a sell market in work on our politics. For this politics, Wike sabi am well now in work. The wayo, the original, the fake, the bend Wike sabi am. So politics now in work. Grassroots Wike sabi am. So when you won't fight Wike, you go prepare, you go there strong. Don't be this thing where they see where they happen for government house. Now the leg where we go use fight Wike be this. Don't be tomorrow now, I find one thing talk say, general don't do this, general don't shift, general never shift, general don't go here. With this leg, everybody where they come to see governor or to work with governor, now they push out. People where they come to come close to governor, now go block them. Now this thing, they lie, they frame people up, they lie, talk different lie. You no go work, oh, because all this caretaker where they bring, nothing then they do, no empowerment. Empowerment or putting 20,000 for envelope they give people, or put 50,000 they give people. That one empowerment goes go no way. What do we know? Local government caretakers, then they buy house. They bid for how many months? This testing we will just tell. This testing we will say we test the caretaker. Now like this, I need to support Batty, no. I need to support evil. You go to chop, masses no good. You go to chop, people no go chop, only you with your girlfriends. We will get some of them now, people wife. Local caretaker them people wife. Widows them. Now so they follow with everywhere. They pursue people wife. In the name of say them be caretaker. Now what we will see?
And that was Gabriel General as Abuja speaking right there. Asim, what is your take on this development?
Thank you. My take, has been that I said this a long time ago, even before, this young man came on air and did those videos. I had been on air before and I spoke that majority of people or supposed people who are saying that they love the executive governor Sim Fubara, they are people I describe as Philistine carpetbaggers. I think this video has proven me right when I use that particular word. I remember that I was on air in one of your sister radio stations in Port Harcourt here, and one of the two, a high profile, man, was not happy when I said that 80% of those surrounding the governor right now are Philistine carpetbaggers. Philistine carpetbaggers are opportunists for situational lashing, and they use that to now feather their nest. That is an administration that is based on bandwagon, the best person is the liberator, is the messiah, is whatever. I said in the months to come that things like this are going to unfold. And I'm very happy that before my very eyes, they are unfolding right now. Now I remember this young man was really fervent and even vowed. He specifically mentioned his name. And he said that he is coming for him on the 17th of June, when their tenure expires. If he does not leave, you are going to see what's going to happen. Open threats, of which he said that he has guns, he has machines, he has whatever, etc. And they were jubilating. The people on the governor's side were jubilating and saying that yes, he's going to do that. They did not condemn his action as at that time, because it's a democracy. We don't take laws into our hands. And we all saw what happened, in the aftermath of that 17th of June. The palpable violence and reactions or reactive, prognosis that we found that turned violent in most local government areas, prompting the setting up of the local government areas by the police. The second one is this. Let's periscope what he's saying, even though I know that we look at him as somebody that is a non-state actor, but let's look at what he's talking about. He has said the truth, from the bottom of his heart, and I concur. It's in congruence with my own opinion, and many other people have been on social media saying things of this nature. That is number one, is that the CTC chairman, I heard they were giving 2 billion naira in the first instance, and that, money jamboree be given to them. And this is according to those who informed us that it was given to them by the executive governor for them to go and empower his voice, which he confirmed here, to go and empower his voice, not for development, to go and empower the boys. 2 billion naira, 3 billion naira in any local government in Nigeria here is a huge sum of money. So when you give and you say, well, people are going to transmute now from CTC chairman to substantive, chairman. The Rivers people should not allow this kind of perfidy to operate. I don't know the kind of politics they play here in Rivers State. Now they have found out that a lot is going on that they don't know. And that is why you see frustrated people coming out to speak. Honestly speaking, the young man that spoke became frustrated because he couldn't, he couldn't have access to the governor, having done so much to propagate, sensitize, and incite people, to take out the CTC chairman. The CTC chairman were then the CTC chairman as they are. Whether you go and placate him or whatever his case may be, because he has said that he wanted to see the governor, and some people wanted to see the governor. They block him. I'm going to block him from seeing the governor. So this is, in fact, it's so nauseating that in a civil democracy we have this kind of situations arising, that non-state actors begin to detect to governors or the governor of Rivers State what to do, and they will begin to come at them to expose their flanks. And I am very happy that he went further to say that the minister for FCT is a formidable politician, which is the truth. But the problem I have now is that with governance in Rivers State now, and every activity of the state begin to go against, Yeso Wike as the FCC minister, why is it that every action of the government as of today, Sim Fubara and his people, what they after is that they are pointing fingers, or they always make mention of it, how to resist him. Is that the essence of governance? I don't think it's unnecessary, things for us to look up to. I think it's a non-sweating situation for me. The governor has been embarrassed or will be embarrassed with this kind of whatever, statement from this young man, where he castigated some of his etc. as case may be. And if you don't settle him, I know only you knows what the state will be like. That is my take now.
Well, Barrister Sims, there seems to also be a background to all these things, and you recall that as Abuja is also declared wanted by the police. And so far, it is not that when the police wants to work, they really, really work. The question is, how is he still able to do videos like this, and, post online? Why can't he be traced? Seeing that event that culminated in the death of a policeman and also left several people injured. You also recall that prior to the day that the outgone chairman were to exit office, there was a viral video you mentioned. But in that video, he empowered him, I'm using his words, to empower him to oust the local government. And he said that they are going to dominate the entire local government areas. And you see what played out in the aftermath of that video. And then in another video as well, he also came out to say that he's not fighting anybody, but if anybody comes, he will come for them. If anybody tries to kill, he will kill them. Taking over him, and in quotes, what he said again, his army has taken over Rivers State, and they are backing the government of Sim Fubara. Now, when you look at these things critically, not forgetting it as well that in the aftermath of that crisis that happened, around the local government chairman leaving office, the governor also came out to say that none of his supporters will be arrested, and that if the police wants to arrest any of his supporters, they have to go through him first. Now, when you marry the statement of the governor, with this background and what played out during that crisis, one would wonder what exactly is playing out in Rivers State if these non-state actors, to a large extent, have come out to tell the world that they are out of this thing. And as long as things are concerned, from what Abuja is saying, these city chairmen are culpable of even, to a large extent, engaging this young man to wreak the havoc he's wreaking in Rivers State. What is the way forward at this point?
The way forward is that non-state actors in civilian democracy are not allowed to, govern or overwhelm the constitutional, imposed governors or president. But right now in this state, you can see that there is a miasma, or let me say a milieu of, people, retinue of people from the creeks who normally come out to say, this is our governor. Especially, there is a Sawana movement that is also making the rounds. Yesterday, I was somewhere, I had a heated argument with one young boy who was not aware, or he was unaware of the facts before the governor became a governor. And I told him categorically that people voted for, can you go back to his transfer? People voted for this same footballer because of Yeso Wike. He was the one that brought this young man up. We never knew that this young man was an Ijo or a Sawana person. There was nobody from the creek or non-state actor that came out to say then that this is our man and this he should be. But it was a singular fact that, Yeso Wike brought this man from somewhere and, put it on our consciousness. And based on that, we voted for him, as the case may be. Now, after voting for him, he has, gone back and reneged on some of whatever that was agreed, etc., as the case may be, and is now operating. It is now that you want to come and tell us that he's an Asawana man. They call him a Asawana computer. I don't know what that means on the street, Asawana. So you find that a lot of non-state actors. I remember the last time the John Nation came out and said, if you touch this John man, etc., we are going to do this. Even another statesman, Edwin, as the case may be. That is for another day. But looking at what is going on now in Rivers State, when a government begin to bend, towards, militancy and militarization of the state, then you know that the government are bound to have this kind of situation. If they did not hobnob with him, he will not know their secrets. If they did not, go and, contract him, or maybe he self-impose himself on them, he wouldn't have known their secrets. A lot of people are not aware that the money given to the local government CTC chairman has been frivolously spent. He specifically said some things I wouldn't want to say on air here. For instance, he said they are buying down to the fact. We have asked this question, like you rightly asked. How is it that non-state actors are so difficult to arrest, even when police declare them wanted? For instance, like Wadume, in Zitarab or wherever as case may be, he was declared wanted, and before he could be arrested, soldier men lost their lives when they went to arrest him finally. And at the end of the day, as I speak to you today, is it not out of, I heard he's been released, maybe he has served his term or jail term as case, but I don't know how many years they gave to him. So why is it that the police, like you rightly said, in this kind of situation, he has even boasted in that video to tell the police that I saw one of them said that he is not running away, he is where he is, that they know where he is. As the case may be, that one, he is not a militant, that he did not commit any offense, as the case may be. That is what he said on the video. But we were thinking that the police will go after him, having done the technological devices, available to do it, as the case may be. So that is it.
One would expect that before the police will declare someone wanted, the police would have done their due diligence, they would have done a thorough investigation, and probably they have intelligence on that person that, before they go to the extent of declaring someone wanted and placing a bounty on that person's head, there must be a very serious damning evidence that the police must have against that person. But then something strikes me and is quite concerning in that video when he was talking about the FCT minister. He said, is this how we are going to fight Wike? I am quoting him.
Yes.
Is this how we are going to fight Wike in Rivers State? Let me use the language used. Now, so we go take fight Wike in Rivers State. Now, that particular statement alone is concerning, which means there is some level of mobilization across ranks. Probably his men, the militants and non-state actors in this instance. Probably there is some level of mobilization to fight Wike in whatever way they deem fit. And you can recall the last time as Abuja came out openly in Rivers State, what happened in Rivers State. So if there are plans to fight Wike, and he's telling the governor, is that how we plan to fight Wike? Which means probably within the political class, there are also plans to do that. What is it's concerning. The more I think about it, the more it blows my mind, because now I am worried about the safety of lives and property in Rivers State. If probably he is empowered like he wants, the resultant effect could be quite damning on Rivers State. And if he's still not empowered, like he's claiming that he has been abandoned, there will also be a negative impact. What do you have to say about this concern?
You see, the point is there's no hiding the fact that the present administration in Rivers State are daggers drawn with the FCT minister, Wike. We can't pretend about it. The two camps are aware that there's a festering war. You understand? Both on social media and physical warfare, but I don't know about the spiritual as the case may be. I only know about the one that we are having. So every movement by the governor, if you look at what is going on now, the propagate or the person that propagates and kind of sensitize and incite his supporters is the executive governor of Rivers State. You see, for instance, the last project launch or whatever they went to, they said, God punish our enemies, open and close. You know, I was wondering why should that come from, you know, a man that with so much respect, you know, and responsibilities on his shoulders. You know, God punish our enemies. So I could, a number of inciting and very acerbic and uncouth words that were used, you know, to kind of make this political this in the atmosphere, say, boil up, you know, to the centigrade that is the highest. Now, as that is as that may be that as it may, I want to tell you that the two parties are so aware that look, there is war. This is an internecine war, and you see, a war that is fought, you know, by two mortal enemies that do not know themselves before is not going to be fierce and intense like a war fought by two friends. They know themselves, they know their strengths and weaknesses. So when they come into a war zone like that, the battle is going to be fierce. A lot of people will go in for it politically, as the case may be. Some have gone. You find out that some of these soldiers on this side and on the other side, they have been crisscrossing. And this is another example from what he has said today. There's a crack on the wall, because he was fervently in support of the governor of the state and his administration and vowed to fight for him till the end. Now, if he comes on open air to come and begin to discountenance and begin to, you know, insinuate, you know, that the mission for which he came and took up arms against, you know, a Yesowike of this world is because of the fact that he felt that the governor cannot fight, you know, the FCT minister, and himself, in collaboration with the executive governor present, that they can be a formidable opponent to the FCT minister. Now, the question that we should be asking him and everybody, and even the administration of those whom he support, is that what kind of resistance are you talking about that you want to fight? The war, that is, you to fight Wike is not a small thing. So we're asking what kind of fight are you trying to, you know, fashion out, you know, that will not say this is the fight, the weapon you are going to use to fight that particular man? Is it a political fight or a physical fight where, you know, violence will erupt in Rivers State, etc., because you can incite people and say, okay, he will not come to Rivers State, you are going to do this to him, and before you know, you begin to create violence here and there. These are questions that we need to know. What nature of battle is he and his people, you know, going to fight with the FCT minister? That is what we want, you know, cleared. But as it is, if the government of the day does not come out to disassociate themselves, you know, from these videos that we have seen, they didn't do that in the past, because when even when he made that particular video with arms and threatening violence, etc., which on itself is a crime, they didn't, you know, come out to disassociate themselves from it. The supporters of government were supporting him in numbers, as case may be. Now that he has come out clean and to re-emphasize that yes, the support was for the governor of the day and his administration, but since he has been frustrated, as the case may be, then you know a man that is frustrated can do anything, you know, to get what he wants. So the question now is that is Asabuja on a crossroad, in the sense that is he planning to, you know, kind of a dish, you know, what's his name, the governor of the state, with due respect, or is he coming to align now with the FCT minister from what he has said? You know, you cannot trust these non-state actors. They come where their bread is buttered. And I believe that this kind of cry now is a community shouting, you know, to those he has been helping to do things. That is a warning, like when you give them notice of what you want to do. You say, okay, nobody's taking care of you. It's a cry for help, you know, from him. I am drowning, and the same time right now, this is not what we bargain for. We are not seeing what we bargain for. And that is very, very dangerous. I said, and I want to repeat myself, that was what happened in Borno State. Boko Haram Mohammed, that was killed by the Obasanjo government. One particular governor in those days recruited.
Made some suggestions when you said that the Rivers State government can even placate him. And, you know, wouldn't that encourage other militants elsewhere to also come out and start their own agitation as well? Because it will be a cycle that will never end. That's on one hand. And also, when you were answering my question, you said what kind of fights can a non-state actor bring into a political embroglio? Like you rightly said, it's a political embroglio. It's purely political. So when a non-actor now comes in, you know, your guess is good as mine. What the stakes are actually, and in Nigerian parlance, you show working, so that people will be encouraged to vote for you and campaign for you during the local government election. So with the lackadaisical nonchalance of the CTC chairman, do you actually see a free and fair local government election, or is it a selection that is going to happen?
It's a selection. There's no two ways about it. You know, elections are coming up next month on the 5th. There are no activities. I have not seen where PDP has campaigned, APC has campaigned. APC is even in court with the RISEC, whatever. PDP right now, they are not campaigning. The only activity we have seen now is a new party they call the APP, which they said that is where they are now moving to. We heard, you know, from the street that the people, the governor and his cabinet or administration, those who are going to be active will move from PDP to APP to go and contest election. Then when they not even contest, that is going to select them in the APP, take them and distribute them in the local government areas. Then they will now still remain APP. I don't really know how that is going to work. Two is that if you look at what has gone on, from what I've heard, you know, from sources from the street, they are saying that of all the local government chairmen, CTC chairmen that were planted or selected by the executive governor and his cabinet, that what they have done is that they're going back. Nobody is even going to take any expression of interest form, or maybe go for any primaries or go for anything. That they are giving them automatic, that is, they will transmute, you know, a substantive to substantive chairman of their local government. That is what we are hearing. And that is on a technical ground of whatever the fashionable as case may be. And now operating, you know, a kangaroo house of assembly, which is a situation that is so factical and laughable that in a state of this nature, only 3 people, if you remove the speaker, it now becomes 2 people, as the case may be. That is where you send your confirmation notice and whatever to. Is that not an aberration? People, you are operating on that particular platter without being, you know, you are not ashamed. You don't even feel like, you don't shudder. You just go and present. It's like a kangaroo affair. So it's a very serious issue. So an executive that has such, you know, absolute power, because absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that is the situation. And if you look at, you know, what philosophers have said about absolute power, you know, you find out that Edmund Burke, you know, I now find, you know, solace in what he said. He said, power do not corrupt people, but people corrupt power. That is what I found out. So the powers the executive governor is using in Rivers State right now, he is corrupting power. Because the powers given to him, he does not have those things to operate. The budget, for instance, he can't pass the budget without following the procedural rules as prescribed. You cannot even begin to talk about, you know, a sitting House of Assembly without having the constitutional provision made for it. You circumvent and obviate all these things to your own merit. It becomes a democracy. This is more or less like a monarchy, as the case may be, or even a theocracy. As so, once the bishop says so, all other, you know, whatever will fall in line, and nobody can even dare raise his head to say, "I challenge you." For instance, can the 3-man House of Assembly challenge the governor and say, even if this happens, what is the state House of Assembly ought to have done? Because the House of Assembly of a state, well constituted, have the, you know, the legal imprimatur authority to do what? To oversight, you know, functions of the local governments, as case may be, to check them if there is malfeasance, corruption, embezzlement, etc., as case may be. But nobody is doing anything about it, because the 3-man assembly is an apron string of the governor of the state, and that makes it very incongruous. You know, I laugh at times when I see these things happen. It can only happen in maybe in Jim Bede Bokasa's country, or maybe in the medieval times, where you have feudal lords that nobody can even challenge them. So it's so sad. Now, for the governor, because there's a question you asked me and said that how is he working or what is the governor going to do? He cannot do anything, because if you don't want bees to come to your house, don't move around with the honeycomb. The moment they send that honeycomb, they will come and build their house, build their nest inside your house, because you invited them. So whatever you have invited, by conduct, you ratify these actions. By conduct, you overwhelmingly gave him support. By conduct, you were, dealing with him, because silence in law can mean acceptance, as the case may be. You were dealing with him. So if he comes out to begin to challenge you or say things of this nature, I believe that is because you gave him a leeway for him to operate. That is why he's coming out to come and disgrace them and put it pungently. We are going to see more videos coming out, and that is what is going to happen, I believe.
Right. Fingers crossed. Interesting times ahead in Rivers State, and trust us to bring you the stories as it breaks. And then on to Edo State. The ex-governor of Edo State and lawmaker has labeled Obaseki's wife as being childless. Oshomole's comment was reportedly made during a political rally sparking widespread condemnation. On Thursday, the People's Democratic Party in Edo State flagged off its governorship campaign for Esan Southeast local government at Ubiaja Township Stadium. During the campaign, Betsy introduced Ifeyinwa Ighodalo, wife of Asue Ighodalo, PDP governorship candidate, to the crowd present at the event. Betsy claimed that Ighodalo was the only governorship candidate in the September 21 election with a wife. The First Lady urged women to vote for a candidate who has a wife, adding that it would translate to women's empowerment. Reacting in an interview with journalists, Oshomole said he was shocked to hear Betsy say Monday Okpeblo, the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress, has no wife. The former Edo governor claimed that Betsy and her husband have no child and did not adopt. He said, "I was shocked yesterday to see Mrs. Obaseki, the First Lady, saying our candidate has no wife. I am sorry she had to say that, because here is a woman who has no child. Between her and Obaseki, they are childless. They are not even ready to adopt," Oshomole said. "I don't blame anybody who doesn't have a child, but people who have love for children go to a motherless home and adopt. They have not adopted. They are both in their 60s. Our candidate not only has children, he has invested in the education of those children, such that the first one who spoke at a campaign rally is a lawyer and the second is a medical doctor. They addressed the crowd in Edo South, Edo Central and North, and their mother was there." Asim, what do you have to say to this?
I heard a lot of things about this Oshomole and Betsy Obaseki, the First Lady. Of course, that is those of us of Edo State, we know that those things don't mean anything to us. We say things on the streets. Like if you go to Benin, you go to Auchi, you see the way young boys talk all these things and just tell you the way it is. We take them as a not way of life. In Benin, you see, we do respect, they say Ogun kill the person. I'm sorry, I'm saying the word. That is a street, thing. So they are just trying to, portray their natural state of being the Edo man or Edo woman. That is why I see no reason why the wife of the governor will even go to that, because she started the whole whatever. Now she said the people are not married. You understand the point now? Those people now respect. People, they can't keep quiet. I know them very well. They must have something to tell you.
You are from Edo.
I'm from Edo, so they must have something to tell you. And very quickly, they don't even wait for 24 hours. In the next minute, they will tell you, they give you a reply that we pay, and everybody will begin to fight at times. So you find out that in Edo, where we come from, we see that on the street, people curse themselves, abuse themselves, with very harsh language, tone it as the case may be. Now, Betsy brought and said, these people are not married. Well, I don't know what role that is going to play in politics. Then Oshomole now responded. Boris Johnson of UK, as the case may be, it was even when he left government that he even had to get married. You understand? So we have people like that all over the world. So I don't know why this is very important. But for Oshomole to say, I cannot blame Oshomole, to be very honest. I don't have the right or moral right to say he is wrong for responding. When the woman started on a very wrong pedestal, you know, going outside politics, why will you respond the other way? She was
probably she was trying to sway the female crowd by telling women to vote for a man with a wife.
No,
she said it to translate to women empowerment.
No, what I even felt, she would have. There are so many other things to campaign. Get child education. The man has adopted children. Now, if he does not have a wife, are you saying that he will not do for the children who are female? Get child. And let me even tell the Baseki or other people who are doing this thing. When you talk about women empowerment, etc., you are right, but forget that you also have boys. You have boys who are growing up. It's not only women that should be empowered, but boys, all of them, children empowerment, that's what should be. That's what they call it, Child Rights Act. That if the people that will respond and obey and uphold the Child Rights Act of Nigeria, you know, and etc., then I will understand. So you don't even need to be married for you to value children, as the case may be. I have seen people who are not, they don't have kids, but they have, you know, giving scholarship to people, orphans. They give scholarship, they live with them, do everything. I have an uncle who was in the US, no child, but he came back home, adopted about 10 of them, and he's training them. And some have graduated today, and they call him daddy. But you will not know that it's not the biological parents or those. So that is not an issue at all for me. For her to have raised such, then you are now opening flanks for attack. And that attack came at the appropriate measure that you feel. People sympathize with her, but next time she will know how to tailor her campaign, you know, whatever, for her husband, and not using the other way, maybe insinuating and going out of the campaign program plan, as the case may be. You can say, we need a governor that will empower women. But when you begin to say, a man that is not married cannot empower women, who told you that? The candidates you are referring to, even the other Labour Party candidate that he said they don't have wife, I witnessed. That is, elders we see but will not talk. We will not even imbibe that. So the elders we have today are not the kind of elders we have in those days. Oshomole is an elder, but he didn't belong to that particular eldership of those days. That, you know, they had some institutions that were revered and they respected. These are young elders that we have. And these are cosmopolitan elders, you know, that are coming up in those states. So when they begin to talk in that language, that is the way they do people talk. With due respect. We talk to ourselves like that on the street, and you still go back and go to your own way. I saw a religious man in Benin, you know, tell somebody who drove by and almost hit him to say, Ogun will give the person. I'm sorry I'm using the word on open television. And Ogun means God of iron. And the pastor is saying that. You know, so, you see, because the pastor is a Benin man, he's an Edo man, and he's a man of God. You know, but he forgot when he was in Benin that he was still going to climb the pulpit or whatever the following morning. So he now felt that, oh, the man did something very bad to him. He had to resort to his cultural and customary way of insulting people. And when they say, oh, go do this to you, it doesn't mean that thing will kill you. So we are all, most of them are bad-matted. Let me use the word open and close. Most of them are bad-matted. Even the governor of the state, you heard what he said, Obaseki. He said, if you read this election, Nigeria will burn. Edo will burn. Who is going to burn Nigeria because of Edo election? You see some things. So that tells you how, you know, they talk. And that is our normal this thing. You see the worry and Edo people, there's a connect. So we say these things with pride, we just move around. And when you go out, you see what is going on. So that is the situation that we find ourselves. I don't think it should be taken too far. The two of them, yes, they are wrong, but I know that it's our culture and tradition of language, talk, and all those things. But when you know you kind of people that you have, do not start a fight that will bring, you know, things of this nature. If you live in a glass house, finally, do not do what? Throw stones. I don't know who made that, but I know I've heard it. I've lived to know that if you live in a glass house, don't throw stone. Even a particular musician sang with it and said, if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. So if Obasanjo's wife threw a first stone, then I have the right to throw 10 stones at her. So that is what I feel in this situation.
Now, with the concern, you know that generally, particularly Nigerians have come out to call out of Oshomole on that statement and, you know, condemned it very, very strongly. Now, you're saying that in Edo State, it means nothing to
yes.
Edo people because that's a way of life.
It's our way of life. That's right.
Interesting way of life there.
Yes. Yes.
Now, so going by analysis, it will not in any way affect elections.
Edo people say this is the person we are voting for. If you like, go to television stations. They don't even watch it, they don't even listen to you, just be laughing. Like this interplay that is going on now, they are even making jokes. Somebody has done a skit on it in Edo. You understand? Somebody has done a skit on this exchange between Betsy and Oshomole. Edo is a place where we have highly people that are very intelligible and cerebral. You know, we are a different brand of Homo sapien. And that is why you find out that, you know, everything, they say the big heart. They always say the big heart of Nigeria. Or I mean, they know the heartbeat of Nigeria. That is what we have on our plate number. Edo, the heartbeat of Nigeria. How do you come and choose Edo to be the heartbeat of Nigeria? You ask yourself the question. There are reasons. So these are things we have to go into. In Edo, you have people like Bright or Mokari, we call it tempted. You know what happened that time? And then he came out from those places. So, but the state generally is a very good state. These things are not going to have any impact in the election.
All right. Nigerian police have placed a 20 million naira bounty on a British national, Andrew Wine, and a Nigerian, Lucky Ehims, who were declared wanted on Monday for allegedly attempting to overthrow President Bola Tinubu. In a statement on the afternoon, the police said a reward sum of 10 million naira awaits any person or persons with information leading to the arrest of each of them. According to the first public relations officer, ACP Muyiwa Adejobi, following extensive intelligence gathering and collaboration with other security agencies, 9 suspects have been arrested who received substantial financial backing from foreign sources to destabilize the country. He said that preliminary findings revealed they orchestrated and funded violent protest by disseminating false information and engaging in other unlawful activities to create anarchy and justify their illegal plot to overthrow the democratically elected government. Investigations have identified a foreign mercenary, Andrew Wine, also known as Andrew Povic or Drew Povey, a British national who built a network of sleeper cells to topple the government and plunge the nation into chaos. He rented a space at Labour House, Abuja, for an Eva Valley bookshop and established Stars of Nations schools as a cover for his subversive activities, the FPRO said. The police therefore called on the public to assist in any useful information that would help their investigation, saying if Andrew Wine and Lucky Ehims are seen, they should be arrested and handed over to the nearest police station. What do you have to say to these developments, Asims?
Anything that has to do with security, I always stand by the police, except I see violations of human rights. That is when I'll say something different.
Okay.
But when the police or security agencies come out to say they have declared this person wanted, under the law they have such powers in Nigeria here. So if you are declared wanted by the police, why be on the run if you did not commit that particular offense? So if the police have come out to say this British or Briton, as the case may be, is on the wanted list, the British government, they should liaise with them to bring that young man to them for questioning, and if he's found culpable, then they will prosecute him. And what should be done at this point in time is that they should also help him with lawyers to come. It is not only in Nigeria that this has happened, and of course you cannot belie what exactly has been going on or went on due to that. end bad governance, protest. In the first instance, I saw a disconnect between that particular end bad governance protest, with the protesters. Why am I saying this? Everybody concentrated, powers, the focus on the federal government to the extent that they were able about targeting in Rivers State here the house of, Yeso Wike, which is just a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The governors, they extricated themselves, or maybe I don't know who took them out, and the governors now behave as if they were not part of governance in Nigeria. Why are you governor? If you are the essence of governor, you don't know that I'm not an English person, but governor, I think governance comes from governor, or governor comes from governance or government. So it means you are in charge. So when you say end bad governance, it's not end bad governance federal government. It even the local government chairman CTC who were seated ought to be profiled and periscoped. But these people never look at that. They were able to carry letters to go and give to governors in their various states. Which means the person you are giving the letter to, you don't know that that person is part of those who have brought you to this ruination and held you by his jugular vein, even by the allocation, because his governance are talking about. Bad governance starts from the grassroots. And Nigerian grassroots governance is rotten. So why leave that and you focus on the federal? I discussed with somebody said, because the federal government takes 55% of the allocation, it is as the case may be. But that is not an excuse. I believe that the governor should not be held responsible too. The local government people should have been held responsible too. So from that the trajectory, I could decipher that there was an innate and underground or maybe a labyrinth kind of underground that particular movement that came, and before you know what was going on, we saw national flags of other countries, without having information or evidences to show bank transactions, etc. as case may be. There are Nigerians who go out to this. We have mercenaries. This is the era of mercenaries in Africa. The Prigozhin, that Prigozhin, the guy that was shot, the Russian man who is moving up and down all over Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, looking for people that will take him to topple government. It did happen in Mali. And I read and I saw that the problem we have today in the Sahel region today, why you see that military governments are toppled government there, is as a result of the Prigozhin, factor and mercenary antics, as the case may be. He created a problem in Mali, he created a problem in Burkina Faso, and he now came to Niger before he was now taken out by the Russian government. The Russian government knew, because he fell apart, with the Russian government, and they had to kill him, by a drone action that shot his helicopter down. And you find out that he's a Russian. So, and is this country, so you have this kind of problem, they always, fly Russian flags, as case may be. So, there's a neo-colonialist, colonialism working around the template on this ground. And I want to tell people that it is real. Issues are border on mercenary, whatever. I don't pity them. If you are found to be a mercenary, the law must take its course. I want to quickly remind Nigerians, because some of them are complaining, why are they doing that? Is it Nigeria? I say no. You people, some of you have that history, executing history ability in your system that you cannot remember. I don't know whether you don't know by way of ignorance or something like that. There's a man they call Sir, Mark Thatcher. His name is Mark Thatcher. He was the son. He now said, but he didn't know they were going to do that. He provided a helicopter which he paid. He paid for a helicopter to ferry those men from South Africa to Equatorial Guinea to go and carry out the offense. His defense was that he did not know that they were going to topple government. But later, you pleaded guilty and said, I am guilty of the charges. And the South African government, under their law on terrorism and insurrection act, it is against me. You cannot go to prison, you pay fine. I don't know why the judge in South Africa had to, choose the latter option, or pay a fine of £506,000, which Thatcher inside courtroom said, I am ready to pay right now to get my freedom to go and meet my family, etc. as the case may be. But they played national politics where Margaret Thatcher, the mother, had to call on the then South African president that don't kill my son because it's death penalty. that the offense carries in South Africa, just like in Nigeria here. Don't kill my son, let us pay the fine that was imposed, as the case may be. But Equatorial Guinea had 14 charges, still waiting for Mark Thatcher. But the British government refused to release Mark Thatcher to Equatorial Guinea for prosecution, because they feel that if we will not get justice according to them. But the man has confessed in South Africa that I participated. So you don't rule out this kind of situation when you see the Englishman coming here to work with some Nigerian collaborators to topple government. It is new. It is not new. It's real. And for now, I believe the police or security agencies for what they have put forward in the public domain. It is only when they arrest them that they begin to maltreat them. I cannot say on human rights basis, because they have their rights too, even if they are arrested. But for now, let them turn themselves in and come and clarify, because that particular end bad governance, I heard the second phase is coming by October 1st.
Fearless in October.
Fearless in October. So if you look at the kind of names they are using, codes they are using, I hope that they will not turn Nigeria into something else. But most of these countries outside of Africa are looking at Nigeria as the golden, geese that lays the golden eggs. So they want to do everything possible to take over government and begin to let them be like Mali and the rest of them, whose government teams to where Russia and the rest, and Russia now mine their gold and national resources, etc. So these are the things the police should do more to track him, use diplomacy and international relations, to get him wherever he is and bring it to come and face charges.
He has come out to speak. He has come out to speak out, and he said that protest is not treason. That's what he said, that protest is not treason. And he also said that he's willing to communicate or engage with the police, but that will have to be on Zoom. That will have to be via social media platform, probably video call, because that would be what Zoom is about, probably video call. He would engage with them in whatever capacity that he was. He also said he was willing to visit the Nigerian embassy in London to have discussions with them, but apparently he's not in Nigeria. His wife also spoke and said that he left the country when his visa was about to expire, and that he's due to be back in Nigeria on the September 22nd. Now, if he already is saying that he's willing to engage with the police via Zoom, what's the guarantee now that he has been declared wanted that he will come back to Nigeria to answer to this question?
He will not come. It was the same method that Mark Thatcher used. Sir Mark Thatcher is his name. It was the same method. Before they ferried him out, it was difficult, and he was doing hide and seek. There was a time he had to leave South Africa and went to his native land in UK, to meet his mother. But somewhere, diplomatically, they brought him to come and face trial, but with the guarantee to the mother that they will not, execute him in accordance with South African laws. So what is happening here for me is that when police invite you, you come here. The UK police have come to Nigeria to arrest criminals and take them to UK. America, they have come in, they even brought in, whatever, they wanted to even extradite a particular senator from Nigeria to the US to go and face charges. Why did they not do it through Zoom, as case may be? That is idiocy at its highest, level for him to think that Nigeria is like that. I will not, at this point in time, begin to support this, but I will support my country, Nigeria, and the security agencies, as the case may be. Now, if you know truly you are wrong, you are correct in what you are saying, you come down there. Your embassy is here. If you can go to Nigeria High Commission in the UK, why can't you ask your embassy or High Commission here in Nigeria to say, see, I didn't do this. Please, embassy, give me protection. They will give it to you. I know them. What is the embassy going to do? When the embassy or the High Commissioner here brings or submit this Britain to the Nigerian police and with his lawyers and whatever there, I am telling you that he will be given the best of treatments. They cannot treat him the way they are treating others, because this is a man that the United Kingdom government has already said we are involved. They'll be watching everything as it unfolds. So you can't take us for a ride as case. So the second one that people have said that protest is not I don't believe in that. Protest must not be violent. I can protest against my wife in the house. I can do that, but I don't need to beat her up. I can protest in this neighborhood without destroying anybody's livelihood. I can protest on the street of River State without disrupting traffic flow. I have seen that happen in his native country where he came from. In the UK, where even when the Black Lives Matter,
that this Britain is also a tenant in the Nigerian Labour Congress Secretariat, the headquarters in Abuja. Does this now, to a large extent, justify or does it make sense of the raid that was conducted in the NLC Secretariat in Abuja? You will recall that raid, raised a lot of eyebrows and got negative reaction from Nigerians. With this development, does that to a large extent justify that raid and make sense of it?
You see, in Nigeria today, when somebody's alarm, the rest will just follow suit. Let me tell you something. Before the police give this clarification, I heard that particular opinion that, why should the police invade the Labour House? Because they made it look as if it was the Labour building. I mean, the Labour people are the only people occupying that building. Many of us have not been there. We never knew they had tenants. So they are not even using the whole building. So when the police went there overnight to go and raid, under the law, they have the powers to do that. If you go to section 149, sub 2 of the Additional Criminal Justice Act, the police people have the right to break into your house if they have actually opened, you are not trying to open. Under section 149, sub 1 of the Additional Criminal Justice Act 2015, a law signed into this is by the president then, Jonathan. If the police come to a place, you must give them that right to enter that place and ingress. They call it ingress and egress. And if you don't give them that particular, they have the right to break into that place. So there's no particular this that has immunity of sort, as the case may be. If the police got in there because I thought that they invaded the NSC, I said, what are they going to do there? What has Jero and his people done that they will invade the labor? I criticize government, but information is key, power. But when they came out to explain that no, the reason why we went there was because there is this particular second floor, whatever etc. as case may be, a particular tenant was there. People now say, oh, do you have tenants in by tenants? So because labor is housed there does not mean that the Nigerian police or any security agencies cannot go there and invite. So they got in there, and in situations like this, people say they should have invited him. No,